Calaroga Shark Media.
Hi, wow, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. This is the normal episode for Saturday. Let's talk about some other stuff, huh? If you want to talk Jimmy Kimmel, I dropped 2 bonus episodes yesterday. I'll drop another one later today. But, sometimes you're at work, you just need to go outside and take a walk. This is the podcast equivalent of that. Let's talk about something else. Again, I'm really into the Kimmel thing, but it's all I've been doing since Wednesday night. The Muppet Show is coming back for a one-event special in 2026 to coincide with the original show's 50th anniversary. In this special, the Muppets return to the Muppet Theater to produce a variety show. Sabrina Carpenter will guest star. Have the Muppets listened to her lyrics? Seth Rogen's got his hand in this somehow as an executive producer. The original Muppet Show, created by Jim Henson, ran from 1976 to 1981. Wait, aren't they owned by Disney now? Oh, aren't we boycotting Disney because we're all mad about Jimmy Kimmel? Yeah. Jimmy Kimmel, ABC, Disney, Hulu, Marvel, Star Wars. You can't partially boycott. John, why'd you lead off with the Muppets? You're promoting Disney, you horrible person. The original Muppet Show, back when it was good and not owned by those Disney people, aired from 1976 to 1981. I watched it all the time. Aired in 100 countries. Featured guest stars including Elton John, Johnny Cash, Diana Ross, Debbie Harry, Gladys Knight, Liza Minnelli, Paul Simon, and many others. There were a lot of great people on that show. I actually liked a couple years ago, they sort of brought it back. It was like, what if the Muppets did The Office? I thought that was actually pretty good. Greg Daniels, the guy from The Office and the guy from The Paper? He apparently at one time was trying to revive the Muppets. He told The Hollywood Reporter, I didn't have a treatment, but I was trying to figure out what would be the next thing for the franchise. It felt very baby boomer and millennial, but I was more of a Gen Xer and didn't get where it fit in 2005. This was just before The Office, so I ended up getting that instead. You know who I think should do it next? Robert Smigel. He'd figure out a way to reinvigorate the Muppets and make it cool. I try to work with Robert on Space Force, but he always has a lot going on. Once we clear the current news cycle, all eyes will be on Saturday Night Live. They have announced the first 3 hosts for season 51. Up first, October 4th, Bad Bunny. Why? I don't know either. People seem to think he does a good job hosting. I mean, his music's cool, but I don't think he's that good of a host. But he's only hosting. He's not the musical guest. Doja Cat will make her debut. I guess we'll be getting a lot of Marcelo Hernandez, who does one thing and does one thing well, but he does one thing well. October 11th, Amy Poehler, musical guest role model. Amy Poehler is hosting the show 50 years to the day of the very first episode of SNL. Some people have wondered, why didn't they just wait till October 11th? Why are they going October 4th? I don't know. Ask Lauren Michaels. I'm a guy hosting a podcast in the basement. Lauren knows better than me. Sabrina Carpenter, second mention of the day. She is the host and musical guest on October 18th. Have people heard her lyrics? I mean, these lyrics have words like horn and wet in them. At 11:30 on a Saturday night, okay, we might be wet. On the Muppet Show? I'm not sure. I was so busy with the Kimmel stuff, I got offered a screener to watch friend of the show, Gianmarco Soresi's new special, Thief of Joy, and I was like, thanks, publicist. And you can tell the publicist doesn't work for Hulu because they actually offered me a screener and correspond with me, but I was like, thanks, publicist, but I don't have a free minute. I haven't even had anything to eat. So I told her, I'm like, I'll just wait till 7 o'clock Friday night when Thief of Joy premiered. You'll find it on YouTube. Other friend of the show, Jason Zinnemann at the New York Times. Now, I almost reached out to Jason Zinnemann, and Jason, if you're listening, you can reach out to me. But I saw when Kimmel-gate broke out, I saw Jason tweeting that he was about to get on a plane for vacation. So I'm like, all right, I won't bug the guy. But Jason, if you're listening, I'd love to talk to you about all this. Friend of the show, Jason from the New York Times, called Gianmarco's special superb, marrying the flair and showmanship of a Broadway baby with the ruthless irreverence of a club comic. Zinnemann writes about one of the particular bits. I will not spoil it for you, and that's not a dig. A friend of the show, Jason Zinnemann from the New York Times. I'll just let you experience it yourself. But he wrote the particular bit is a funny mix of cringe and cutting, try hard and eye roll, lip-biting emotionalism, and cynical snark. We tend to think of the stand-up comic as the natural enemy of the theater kid, but Soresi makes them seem like old friends, a complimentary double act. Jason writes, American comedians have increasingly stood up by shaping their jokes into a narrative arc, putting on solo shows that are more ambitious thematically and emotionally, sometimes at the expense of laughs. That's not what Soresi's doing here. If anything, Thief of Joy represents a breakthrough for him because of its commitment to the craft of jokes. Eric Idle in the news for two reasons. First reason, he was asked about Stephen Colbert. He made these comments before Kimmelgate broke out, but this comment was about Stephen Colbert. Eric Idle said, there's a reason Hitler and Trump got rid of the comedians first. They hate being laughed at. I'll circle back to the second Eric Idle story after I tell you that Andrew Colvetz, an executive producer of The Charlie Kirk Show, said Charlie loved that he was featured in South Park and would have wanted the episode satirizing him to continue airing. The August 6th episode of South Park saw Cartman do a Charlie Kirk kind of thing. Comedy Central has pulled the episode from airing on television. I believe it's still available on Paramount Plus. Andrew Colvett, that friend, said, as someone who can speak with some authority on this, Charlie loved that he was featured on South Park. He told me many times he'd want the episode. Right back to Eric Idle. He gave a health update. He was hospitalized twice in 3 days. Eric is 83 years old, lives in Los Angeles, jumped on Twitter and said he's suffering from gastroenteritis, an inflammation of the stomach intestines, typically caused by a viral or bacterial infection. He said, so I'd like to thank all the doctors, nurses, and staff in the Cedars-Sinai LA Hospital GI ward for their kindness and help to me today. The second time in 3 days. I love you people. Johnny MacBot here. He forgot to tell you about the Toronto Comedy Festival tonight at 7. Ron Funch's Sarah Milliken at 7. Jay Jordan at 7. Al Madrigal at 7. Zarna Garg at 7. James Adomian's Alt Show is at 7:10. John would probably tell you, let's go see Madrigal at 7 and then have 2 beers and go to bed. So let me catch up on this story because it's sort of apropos of the theme of the second half of the week anyway. Variety's headline, again, this was before Kimmelgate, NBC bets Jimmy Fallon's advertising antics will help ward off TV's late-night woes. And they talked about the episode Fallon taped in Detroit last Sunday that aired Monday. Ford Motor Company had a hard-to-miss role in the program. The Detroit Opera House was filled with an audience of Ford employees and partners. Ford's chief marketing officer said, what we like to do is tell stories, and Jimmy's the same. He does it in such creative ways that it really lands well with the audience. Variety got into the numbers of the late-night business. In 2018, 5 late-night shows, the 2 on CBS, the 2 on NBC, and Kimmel combined around $439 million. According to Guideline, who tracks ad spending, by 2024, that number was down to $220.6 million. There's no more 12:30 on CBS. Soon there will be no more 11:30 on CBS. And I don't know if there's an 11:30 on ABC anymore. Fallon's Tonight Show brought in $104.7 million in 2023, $78 million in 2024. The article tells us that Jimmy Fallon maintains a relationship with the Ford CEO and meets with Ford executives regularly to find out what products and initiatives are on top of their minds. In the past, Jimmy Fallon's team created a video that had Jimmy raising a baby Bronco and another that spotlighted the electric F-150. The CMO over at Ford says when you have a partner who's truly interested in co-creating with you, the result is not cookie cutter. It's not a one-size-fits-all program, and that's what we love about it. Now, we can all sit here and eye-roll Jimmy Fallon, but this is what you got to do. This is going to work. And that is your Comedy News normal episode for a Saturday morning. I'll be back in a few hours, and we'll update you on Kimmel. See you in a bit.